Hello and welcome to South Jersey in Focus. I'm your host, Veronica Dudo. Coming up on this week's episode, we learn more about an organization that helps abused and neglected children in the foster care system. Plus, with summer just around the corner, we'll talk with a dietitian about some healthy weight loss tips. And we'll also check in with the largest indoor beachfront water park in the world, located in Atlantic City. At this time of year, many are looking to shed some extra winter weight as they get ready for the summer. Tiffany Rios is a registered dietitian and certified diabetes educator with Shore Physicians Group, who joins us now to discuss some healthy weight loss tips and how maintaining a healthy lifestyle is not only ideal, but how it can also prevent chronic diseases. Hi, Tiffany. Thanks so much for your time today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So the warm weather is here and everyone's trying to get in shape for all of that summer fun. What are some tips to do this in a healthy way?
So, I think setting realistic goals is really important. So, you don't want to set a goal that's going to make you feel really stressed about the weight loss, because that can oftentimes backfire. So, we set, when's the last time you felt really good? What was that weight? We take into account your height and weight and age and calculate a realistic level of calories for you to be at. And there's different strategies we can use to get to those calories, but generally, the top strategies that I use are making sure that you have protein at every single meal because protein tells your brain that you're full. And that's going to really help you stay within those calories. And the second is having vegetables at as many meals as possible because that fiber actually increases a hormone called GLP-1, which also tells our brain to stay full. And it also helps us with just regulating our blood sugar and increasing our ability to burn that sugar efficiently. So definitely just utilizing our body's own signals by increasing proteins and fibers. And those are the two main things that I work on increasing in my patients' diets. And there's other things, obviously exercise, moving your body is going to be great. Drinking enough water and all of those things as well.
Now, we're in time where people want things instantly. There's lots of different types of fad diets out there. What are some myths that you'd like to debunk just to kind of share with the audience?
I think the biggest myth is that if you eat less and less and less, you will lose weight. Some of my patients just try to go all day without eating, and then that causes them to actually eat more at nighttime. And I explain that every cell in our body is operating on a clock. It's a circadian rhythm. And so if you don't eat during the day when your circadian rhythm is actually telling us that we're burning calories faster, because that's, during while the sun is out, our cells are charged. So if you're not eating during that time, thinking you're doing yourself a favor at nighttime when our body wants to rest and digest and our bodies are slowing down and that metabolism is slowing down, that's when you're going to eat more calories. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot because you're not eating when your metabolism's faster and then eating more when your metabolism's slower. So the biggest thing is don't not eat. Just try to eat more of the right things. And again, it's back to that protein, the fiber. I always am an advocate for what can we add to your diet versus, focusing so rigidly on what can we take away and how do we, eat less and less and less. I don't think that's a realistic approach.
And would you also agree that there's not really a one size fits all approach to this?
100%. I think that's the biggest challenge with nutrition right now is that there's so much information, right? Between Instagram and TikTok, and everyone's sharing their own point of view, which I think is great that we have more nutrition in the conversation. But I also think it can be very confusing for people because they're trying to follow something that might be great for someone else's body, but not for theirs. That's one of the reasons why it's great to see a dietitian because we look at your lab work, we look at your medical history, and we're really taking into account you as the big picture. We're not just looking at a fixed amount of calories. We're looking at everything that's involved with you and personalizing it and tailoring it to you.
So, in our digitally connected world, in terms of social media, everyone is kind of jumping on the Ozempic train. Would love to get your professional thoughts on that if there are potentially some people who are considering that as an option.
Yeah, so I think that Ozempic is certainly a catalyst for people who are in a difficult place where maybe they're really overweight, they're kind of stuck, which is forcing it's kind of making them make choices with their health that aren't great. Maybe they're less active because of that. Maybe they're not eating the right things because they're feeling down. And then it sort of creates this perpetual cycle of, okay, now their blood sugars are high, now they're having some biomarkers come back that aren't great, and it just sort of feeds into this negative cycle. So sometimes a medication like that can really help to break that cycle. And Ozempic was originally designed for people with diabetes, and the weight loss effect is just something that we noticed. So I think in a setting of professionals where there's a doctor, there's a nurse, there's a dietitian that are helping you to navigate this. I think it can be used appropriately. I don't think that it really addresses the root causes of how you got potentially how you got to being overweight or having some issues. So I think in conjunction with education, I think it can be a useful tool. I don't think it's the only tool. I don't think it's 100% necessary for weight loss, but I think it's one tool. And I certainly do a lot of education because many of my patients are taking Ozempic. Since I work in the diabetic population, I certainly do a lot of education of how to take this medication safely.
And finally, you're a certified diabetes educator. What inspired you to take that route?
So I think mostly a lot of people in my family had struggled with diabetes, and it was something that I saw a need for while I was working in the hospital. I had some personal family members pass away from different things, and I just really wanted to help be proactive in helping people manage such a long-term condition. And that was really it. And I really just kind of fell in love with the ability, with diabetes, your effort really, really matters. So when people change their diets, they're able to see that connection and improvement in their blood sugars. And I really like being a part of that to help them.
Tiffany Rios with Shore Physicians Group. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
For 20 years, court appointed special advocates, also known as CASA, has been helping children of Atlantic, Cape May, and Camden counties. The organization's trained volunteers speak on behalf of abused and neglected children in the foster care system and are dedicated to ensuring these children are placed in safe, permanent homes as quickly as possible. For more, we're joined by Brad Zabelski, Outreach and Recruitment Manager at CASA. Thank you so much for your time today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
So, for people who may not be familiar with the organization, can you tell us a little bit more about what CASA does?
Sure, yes, we are part of a national nonprofit, court appointed special advocates across the country working for children who are in foster care. And basically, what we do is a judge, once you're sworn in after you're trained, a judge assigns you to a case with a child or children. As one case is a family, so it could be more than one child. And you get to know that child over time, develop a relationship with that child, and you advocate for them in court on what is in their best interest and needs and help them achieve permanency.
Now, you have been personally touched by this and the organization. Can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Yeah, so it was 2013. I honestly did not know much about CASA or foster care, but my wife was a school counselor and she called me one day and she said, "We have a little girl here who's 6 years old who has nowhere to live. She is being removed and can she come live with us?" And I said, "Sure." And that was the beginning of our foster journey that lasted 10 years. We actually fostered 7 children in that time. I had 3 children with my wife before we started, and we adopted 3 of those girls that we fostered, and now we have 6 children. And my girls who were adopted were always fortunate enough to have a CASA in their life who was advocating for them in court, who got to know our family over time and was there present in court advocating for what our children needed and helped achieve their best outcome.
Now, how important is the organization and to have people, really advocating for some of these children?
Well, I think the organization is very important, and the work that we do is critical in helping these children because there's a child in foster care has many people in their life. They have their parents, their resource parents, they have therapists, law guardians, which are their lawyers. They have the state appointed caseworkers and everyone along those lines. So there's many people involved, but we as the CASA are the only person who's dedicated to only the child. So many of those people are working for the parents, the resource parents, they're helping everyone. But a CASA is just dedicated to the child. And you develop a relationship over time. Again, get to know that child, get to know their needs, their wishes, and you speak, on behalf of them in court.
Now, CASA has been in existence for 20 years, and there has been many children who have obviously reaped the benefits. Can you talk a little bit about some of the ones who you've been able to stay in touch with?
Sure. Well, again, our office has been in Atlantic County serving Atlantic and Cape May and now Camden counties for a little over 20 years. The national organization was founded in 1977. And basically, children remain in foster care for approximately 2 years. It can be longer. But of course, if you get to know the child over that length of time, developing the relationship, it depends. Your future relationship depends on how old the child is, really, because a younger child may not have the same ability to speak up and stay in contact with their CASA. But a lot of the teenagers, the older ones, they really get to know their CASA, and the CASA stays a part of their life, just like in my life, where I have 2 girls who are both 16 years old and had CASAs, and we stay in contact with them. We're friends on Facebook. We have them over to dinner still. So it depends on the child and the family, but there is an opportunity to stay in contact over time.
Now, for people who want to get involved or to help out, how can they do so?
Sure. Yes. The first step is attending what we call an information session, and we have usually 4 per month. We have them in each of the 3 counties that we serve: Atlantic County, Cape May County, and Camden County. They are in person. We do sometimes offer a Zoom option, but for the most part, we're back to in person, and they're held at our office or they're held at county libraries throughout the different counties we serve. And the first step is attending the information session to learn about what we do and the role of the CASA volunteer advocate. Then you would submit an application, which is on our website, and then you would do an interview, a background check, and fingerprinting. And once you're cleared, you then do training to become a sworn-in CASA volunteer advocate.
Now, of course, CASA is in the community and building a network. Are there any upcoming events?
Yes, we do have our annual Go Blue event coming up on Monday, June 10th. It is a combination event where during the day there is a golf tournament that you can, participate in, and then in the evening we have a Go Blue cocktail hour, and it's a dress down where you wear blue. You can wear blue jeans or just anything blue to support CASA, and there's it's a fundraiser, so there's raffles, giveaways, entertainment, food, of course. So it's a really fun time, and that again is Monday, June 10th.
Now,
More
the national
information is available on
organization.
the website.
Great, thank you. Now, the national organization, as you mentioned, had been around since the
Mhm.
1970s, and it really came out of personal experience, for someone. Can you just talk a little bit more about that story?
Sure. The founder of CASA is David Sukup. He was a judge in Seattle, and he basically conceived the idea of appointing citizen, community members who are trained to advocate on behalf of these children because he said there wasn't anyone in his courtroom who was there only for the child. And that is the distinction, that we are there for the child and their best interest. So again, that was started in 1977. Unfortunately, His Honor, Mr. Sukup, passed away this year, very early this year. But when he retired from the bench, the first thing he did was become a CASA volunteer advocate, to work on behalf of the children that he had been serving all of those years as a judge.
Fantastic. Really a great story. How we saw something nationally really take root locally in the community. Brad Zabelski, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
The famed Atlantic City Boardwalk entered a new era of summer fun with the debut of Island Water Park at the Showboat Resort. The unique beachfront indoor entertainment experience casts Atlantic City as an all-encompassing family destination, restoring its reputation as America's favorite playground. Tanasia Dillard, who handles sales and marketing for Tower Investment at the Island Water Park, joins us to preview some of the hottest activities planned at this brand new destination. Thanks so much for joining today.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So, is the Island Water Park really the largest indoor beachfront water park in the world?
Yeah, so we are. So it's like summer year round. It's always 84 degrees in there. Inside, we have heated pools, 11 slides, lazy rivers, a surf simulator, which is known as the Flow Rider, and a retractable roof. So again, it's the largest beachfront indoor water park and is family friendly.
Now, Atlantic City, if you look back in its history, it started out as a family friendly resort. But of course, in the 1970s, when the state legalized gambling and so many casinos opened along the famous boardwalk, there was really a push for a lot of gaming activities. But now we have seen a real investment in non gaming amenities, so things that are family friendly. Now, this is also an experience where children are allowed to attend.
Yes. So pretty much Showboat is the ultimate one-stop shop. We are considered like the boat on land. We are currently like the home of the Lucky Snake Arcade, which is the largest arcade in the world. We were just titled that a few months ago. So we feature over 500 games. We have go-karts, rock climbing, mini golf, and skating. So pretty much if you're looking for a place to stay, we've got you covered. We have over 700 rooms, 234 apartments. So right now we're currently renovating our hotel rooms into something like a tropical paradise theme. So that'll be finished before the summer hits. And we have a spa, the water park, retail, restaurants, pretty much everything. We're just a boat on land.
Wow. Absolutely. And, along the Jersey Shore, of course, here, Atlantic City, New Jersey, we are used to having some cold winters. So, what's really fascinating about this is that it's indoors. So, how has it been for you guys this past winter? Have you been busy?
Super busy. It's been super busy. We have days where we finally met our goals. We sold over 3,400 tickets. Spring break, it was over 5,000 people in the building. Just really busy.
Now, when you walk through and you're seeing, families enjoying everything that's there, as you mentioned, the arcade, the retail, the dining, what is it like to see that level of activity in sometimes the winter months where it's typically a slow time for the resort?
So the arcade, it's always been the busiest. The water park, it started picking up, but seeing people happy, it makes me smile, as well as the owners. You know,
Now, what has been the response from the community? Maybe you've been talking with family members or friends once they visit. What's everyone saying about this new experience?
that we're budget friendly. It's family friendly. We have great food. Um, it's it's like a kid's dream.
Thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.